Today we're going to go over Excel Project 3, and that is your graduation transcript. I have two purposes for doing this assignment. One is specifically for the class. We need to learn a lot about copying and a lot about VLOOKUP and putting in formulas. The main emphasis here is the copying. Okay, the second function is I would prefer that you use your real, live, what you hope to graduate with transcript. I will not check that. If you invent all of the classes and they're just reasonable classes, you will get your correct grade for this project. You won't be marked down for using that. But we have found that Ferris students are graduating with a lot of debt, and one of the reasons for that is because they take courses that they don't need to take for their graduation, or they have things out of order and they get messed up and have to stay longer, and there's a lot of reasons for that. If you can do your graduation transcript, it will give you a plan so you know exactly when you're doing what. That's why I like you to do that. So you would predict, if you're a freshman this year, you would put in your classes you've taken this year, then predict your sophomore, junior, and senior year classes. Now the key element to this is making sure you have the first semester correct. Most of the work is done on the first semester. So first of all, we'll go up here to the top, and it says that we're going to create a couple of tables, then we're going to create some headings. So let's create the tables first. So I'm going to go over on sheet 2, and just so it's easy for me to find it, I'm going to right click on that, and I'm going to rename this tables. And what I'm going to do on tables is up here at the top, I'm going to put in a letter to number table, and over here I'm going to put a number to letter table. Now in the letter to number table, what we want is in the first column going down, we want all of the possible letter grades starting with an F, and in this part we want the numeric equivalent. So I'm going to go put caps lock on, hit F, hit D minus. Now when I hit D here, it guesses I want a minus, so I have to hit a backspace and then enter, then a D plus, C minus, C backspace, C plus, B minus, B backspace, B plus, A minus, A backspace. Those are all the grades. And then here an F gets 0 points, and a D gets 1, a C gets 2, a B gets 3, and A gets 4. From the 1, we would subtract 0.3, giving me 0.7 for a D minus. We add 3.3 for a plus, giving me 1.3. Again, the same thing here. For C minus, we subtract 0.3. For C plus, we add 0.3. For B minus, we again subtract 0.3. For B plus, we add 0.3. And for an A minus, we subtract. Now I have my letter to number table. Now, a number to letter table, I want the same numbers, so I'm just going to highlight them, copy them, and move them over here. For my letters, I'm going to highlight them, copy them, move them over here. Now, if I tell you, if you want to look up here, and I tell you a grade, like C, you go down here until you found a C, then over here you could tell me the number. If I tell you a number, like 0.9, you can go down here and see, okay, that's between these two, that's a D minus. A 0.24, well, that's above this but below this, so it's a C plus. A 3.8, and it's above this but below this, so it's an A minus. So that's what we're going to have them do in the project later on. So now what I want to do is highlight the letter to number table, not the title. And I want to give it a name. So I'm going to call it letter to number. It doesn't matter what you call this as long as you remember the name. That is so that rather than referencing this as tables A2 colon tables B13, I can just say letter to number and that will make it an absolute value of that address. So now I want to do the same thing here. So I highlight this, click over in the name box, and name that number to letter. So now I have two names over here, letter to number, number to letter. All I've done is create the tables now. Now I'm going to go back to sheet 1. And here I'm just going to rename that so that it makes sense to me. This is where the transcript is going to appear. Okay, so up in column A, I'm going to type my name. Okay, and now I'm supposed to go, and that I was in row 4, not row 1, so let's get it where it's supposed to be, row 1. Now it says go over 18 columns. So if I start here, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and notice in the left there it says row 1, and it has my column number. And somehow that just went away. So it's appearing here just below my cursor. 15, 16, 17, 18. And it asks me to format that. So I'm going to format the cells, alignment, so that I merge the cells, and I'm going to center it vertically and horizontally. Now my name's in the center. Okay, now the second row, I want to put in row 2. I'm going to again take the 18 columns, right-click, format the cells, and again I'm going to center and merge. But this time what I want to have in here is freshman and the year. So let's say it's freshman and it's the 2014 school year. So that's 2013 fall and then spring and summer of 2014. I'm going to pause for a second here. Okay, so we've got our two headings here. Now it says to go to row 3 and take 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Right-click that and also merge and center. Okay, and what is supposed to be in here is the word fall. Then we take the next 6, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and again we format the cells, and we're going to center and merge. And then one more time we have to do 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, merge and center. And in these two we're going to put spring and summer. We ignore winter. So we put in here spring. I thought I hit caps lock on, sorry. Spring, summer, and fall or autumn. Okay. Now we're now to row 3. We're now to row 4. We're taking 1 and 2. We are again formatting those so that we merge and center. Okay, and here we're going to put the word course. C-O-U-R-S-E. Then it says in the next one, we have column 1 and 2, we have course. Column 3, we have credit. Column 4 and 5, we again need to merge. And this seems really tedious here, and that's why I only want to do this one time. So I want to make sure this is absolutely right and I've got this formatted correctly. Okay, and everything typed in here correctly. So now I've in 4 and 5, and in 4 and 5 I'm going to put the word grade. Now the last one I'm going to put in here is the word honor. Now what this is, now we'll find out in the next column, row. Okay, in course we have 2 parts to course. One we have is the course number. Now when I put that in, it's on the left, so that would probably look better if I centered it. Next I have the course name. That may or may not look better centered, that's kind of up to you, but with course name it might be better to have a wider cell because that's more information in there. Maybe we even need it over there. And maybe course number, that looks about right. Now credits, it'd be nice if we made that a little smaller. Credit, we have credit hours. And this is whether you're taking 1, 2, 3, or 4 credit class. Next, we're going to have the letter grade, and I'm going to just make that LTR because that's a fairly small thing, and then I can shrink this cell so it would appear better if you printed this out. And grade is the same thing. It's fairly small, so I could shrink that and put in here, again, the number sign if I wanted. And I could do that a couple of ways. One would be just to put a space number sign because this is fairly small. Honor is honor points. And it looks like I could shrink that a little bit also. Now I've got this formatted so it looks fairly good. Okay, and I'm down through row 5. Now, what we do from here is we're going to put in row 6, 7, 8, 9. How many courses could you take in a semester? I'm going to assume that the maximum you would take is 6. If you're going to take more than that, you need to go more. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So in 7, what I want to have in there is the, I'm going to put in here a total. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. In 8, I'm going to put in the semester total. And in 14, I'm going to put in the Ferris total. Now, in this, I also want to merge the cell. But I'm not going to center it this time. Same thing here, I'm going to merge the cell. That way, if I, for any reason, type anything into B, I can't type anything into B13 or 14. Now, what goes in here? This is the critical part. Credit hours. Well, first of all, course number. You have to put that in, some number. Course name, you have to put in that, some name. Credit hours, you have to put that in. It's unique. Normally, you get a letter grade. But, do you ever see your number grade? No. Well, what number grade should go in here? What we need to do here is look up the letter in the table. So we see this as an A. Now, I wonder how many number points I should put in. We go over to the table. We go down here. We find the A, and we see it's 4. So we would put 4 in here. We don't want to do that every time. We want it to happen automatically. We'll put in this, but we want the computer to do this. How do we do that? Go up here to the function, or we go over to formulas. Either way, we go to the lookup and reference, and we do a V lookup, vertical lookup. What value am I looking up? It's the A. I want that to stay relative because if I copy this formula down here, I want it to look up this letter grade. Here, this letter grade. Here, this letter grade. So on. The table array I want it to look up in is letter to number. And if I type this correctly, on the right here, it will show the table. Column index number means I always look down the first column. The table could be 200 columns wide. when I find a match on the first column, I need to tell it which column to take the information from to put in here. So in our tables, they're only 2 columns wide, so we put in a 2. The range lookup is, do we want an exact match or not? If I put in an A colon here, an A comma, an A asterisk, what should I put over here? I should put error. I want an exact match. Only the things that are in the lookup table should be used. So I need to type in false here. And if I click OK and I did this correctly, it'll show a 4. And it says right here it's going to show a 4. So it's OK. So now I can put in here a B minus, and it changes it. I can put in a C, and it changes it. I can put in a F, and it changes it. I can put in A minus, and it changes it. So every time that is corrected, that is correct. Now, honor points is something students have a little difficulty with. When we calculate your grade, the total grade is the total number of credit hours you take divided into the total number of grades. So in order to figure out for this class how many honor points you have, so I can divide the credit hours into the honor points to get this, I need to multiply credit hours by number grade to give me honor points. So I hit equals credit hours times number grade and hit enter. Now what I could do, you won't do it quite this way. Well, what you would do now is copy these down here. And then you would put something, you would put the classes you took here. I'm just not going to bother doing that. And then you would have different credit hours for each one. So as I change these to different grades, it should show different points over here. If I change the credit hours, it should show different grades. Okay, and so you will put in the correct things over here. These should automatically calculate. These should automatically calculate. Now, if we've got this all correct, we're halfway done. Now we need to go to credit hours. I want to know the semester total. It takes 2 seconds to do this. You go to the Home tab and just double-click the auto sum. Excuse me. Honor points, we do the same thing. Now, the numeric grade, though, we can't total because it's weighted. It's a weighted average. So what we have to do is we have to say this equals the total honor points divided by the credit hours. And that gives us our grade. Now, if I go over here, what this equals, since this is my first semester, is the same thing as here, right? But I don't want to do 2 formulas. I would just want to do equals this, enter. This one, same thing, equals this, enter. And it figured out that since I'm copying these down, I probably want to copy this formula down, so it copied it down for me. Now I need the letter grade. How do I find that? Well, that's why I had a number to letter table. So I can go here, see if, well, I'm in VLOOKUP, I can go down to VLOOKUP. Didn't quite work. Click OK. Value I'm looking up now is the number grade. I'm going to the number to letter table, and you see that shows here. I'm going to again look up in column 1 and take the number from column 2. Big difference here though. There is no like 3.5. We have to get an approximation. So rather than false here, we want it to be true. That means give me the approximate one. And 3.5 is 3.3. It's not high enough for an A minus, 3.7, but it's higher than a B plus. Now all I have to do is copy that down. I'm going to pause for a second because I need to cough again. Okay, resuming. Now, if you have this all correct, we are now really in good shape. We're nearly done. We then just highlight this whole semester, copy, go over here, and paste. Now, the only problems with this is that these columns didn't change their width. So we have to work on that a little bit. But other than that, we can make this look nice. Okay? We can make this look nice. Now, what's wrong with this? Now, if I change something over here, let's change this to 3. This 89.8 here and here should change. Let's see if it does. This changed. Well, this shouldn't change, but this should. In fact, this isn't right. It said that I had 78 here, and I got 89, and now I only have 89. I should have my original 78 plus 89. So in here, I need to add another plus the previous semester's total. And credit hours, according to this, I should have 49, not 26. So again, I need to add to that the previous semester's total. Now, if I should take this whole row and get rid of it, because I didn't take those classes, now it should change here. So this is 11, 26, 36, 44, 66, 75. That looks right. Over here, I've got 14 more, but evidently something's different up here. I've got 11, 25, 43, 54, 63, 64, 78. Okay, so now if I change this to an A, I don't want a minus, I want an A. Okay, this is 12, this number went up, this number didn't change, but this number went up. We have verified now, if I change this to 1 credit hour and hit enter, this should go down, this should not, this should go down. This went down, this went down, this didn't. So that's showing me that I've got this correct. So I highlight it again and do a copy over to the summer. I have decided not to go to school this summer. I'm going to highlight all these and hit delete. It's 2 divide by 0 errors. You may or may not delete those. If you want to delete them, do it after you do the copy, in case you take any summer classes. Now we've got our freshman year finished. We've ran our totals. Everything's going good. So now I'm going to highlight the whole freshman year and copy it down here. Well, what's wrong? Well, it's not freshman, it's sophomore. I'm sorry. SOPHMORE. OPH. Did I just misspell that? SOPH. No. There we go. But it's also 2015, not 2014. Now I just go in here, delete any places that I didn't take classes, change the class name, the course number, and the letter grades. So, didn't do well this semester. I gotta just really pulled me down. Now, oh, something's wrong here. Look down here at our totals. Those aren't correct. That's because in our freshman year, it was just the semester totals. Once again, we need to add here the previous semester total, which would be summer. Add here the previous semester total, which again would be summer. And now we're accumulating our average. When we have this done, all we need to do is highlight our sophomore year, copy it down, and this time all we need to change is sophomore to junior and 2015 to 2016. We copy it down here, and all we need to change is sophomore to junior to senior and 2015 to 2017. And we see that we would graduate with a 3.2 average, a B with 158 credit hours and 506 honor points. We then go back and put in here whatever classes we need to add. And we're done. The key was making sure this one was completely right before we started copying, and then making sure when we copied it over here we made the corrections so that these two numbers were right when we copied it over here, and then when we copied this down, making sure these were right. You need to verify that your cumulative is accumulating. And you need to put in valid classes. It doesn't have to necessarily be the ones that you are going to take, but they need to be different. So you can either use your real life example or invent them. I think that completes the transcript and Excel Project 3. Thank you very much. Have a great day.